Dre, on one of our shows, I said a lot of women say I have an education and a job, and I say that's just like a backup plan for when you screw up the marriage, that you can live on your own. So it's not I have a job and education because I want to be smart and have a job. And I'm not saying that for all women. I'm saying there are too many women who have that as only a backup plan for when they sabotage the marriage. And if you think about it, the amount of women who are in the workforce, you're going to displace a lot of men, and then you're still holding the same standards for guys who can't find jobs because they're being taken by women. So we've got a lot of complexity in our society. Marriage is good. You know, I'm listening to you, Dre, and I listen to the guy Mario, and what Carell is an example of being married. And I know we had one of my cousins call who, you know, he talks about, you know, how he loves his wife and she supports him. It's great to have someone you can speak to and support. And those, I question, do you have to get married to have all those things? Yeah, if you want to have children, I get that. And if you really are looking to build a legacy, if you really are building something together, I can understand marriage. But to build something together, you also need to not only build one another, but you have to have some sort of mechanism in your life where you intentionally develop yourself, not just your career. You know, buying a Prada bag doesn't make you a better person. It just doesn't. You might look good, and looking good doesn't mean you know how to cooperate. So I think that I got it. Most guys probably don't want to be players, and there are some concerns about, is it really beneficial to marry? And, you know, with the court systems, a lot of women have the upper hand, and if it goes to divorce. So while guys may not want to be players and they'd like to be a partner, I think it's going to become imperative that people start developing the kind of relationship skills that I was telling that young man in the gym, that, you know, instead of just running off when things don't work, learn how to talk things through and work things out. That's developing cooperation and relationship skills. Otherwise, it's hard to see why you would marry someone who doesn't understand how to cooperate. There's just no benefit to it. A man is putting too much risk in his own well-being to do that.
I will kind of give my closing thoughts as well, and then we'll kind of kick it over to Dre, and we'll get out of here. I think what's going to have to happen, I mean, you know, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Ted, I think that, I don't believe that most men want to be players. I believe, you know, do a lot of men want to possibly have sex with a number of different guys? I'm sure there are men out there that do that. But by and large, I don't believe that most of our men want to be players. That said, and this kind of sounds like almost an oxymoron, I also don't believe that most men want to necessarily be married too. Let me explain what that is.
Right.
70% of women file for divorce, which basically means, and if you know anything about the numbers, you know that typically in most marriages, when they get a divorce, the husband's finances are completely wiped out. He's basically paying for her lawyer's fees. He's still paying the mortgage at his home. He's paying for whatever children that they have. Now, in addition to that, he actually has to go get his own place to live. He has to still function and do the things that he, pay his everyday bills that he would have to take care of. So 70% of women file for divorce. Why do they do that? If it was not a benefit to them, more than likely they would not. So what is going to have to happen is there's going to have to be a somewhat of a gutting of the way the divorce courts are ran, because men are not seeing it as a worthy risk anymore. Again, like I said, whether you make $500,000 a year or whether you make $60,000 a year, men don't see it as a risk. They see it as a risk. They don't see the benefit of it. They see that the courts are slanted in child support, the courts are slanted in divorce court. So for men, they're saying, where's the benefit? If this woman can wake up, and we've had a conversation about this before, Ted, if a woman can wake up one day and just decide, I do not want to be married, don't even matter the reason.
Right.
I just don't want to be married, and she can go down divorce court file, and all of a sudden sends you into a tailspin that you might not ever recover from, where's the benefit? So to the women, I say, if you want to see more men appreciate and want to be in a marital situation, do what is necessary. This is my opinion. Do what is necessary. Go to the court systems and start to kind of roll back these laws that essentially put the control in the lion's share of the control to women. I don't see it happening because, of course, I don't think the women are going to relinquish control, and ergo, there are not going to be that many women to get married. So it's kind of a situation where we're going in circles.
No, Blair, maybe not. Forget the court systems, because marriage is a contractual arrangement. So all you have to do is have an addendum to the contract, and sign, when you're in a great state of mind, sign some sort of prenuptial agreement. In the event this doesn't work out, here's how we're going to part ways. And a lot of women say, well, if you love me, you wouldn't ask me to sign it. Well, if you love me, you wouldn't. If you love me, you wouldn't ask me to marry you, because you're asking me to enter into a contract with you, and I need some sort of contract that in the case we exit this, that we can exit amicably and rationally. So I think instead of the courts, I think people can do that on their own. If women really want to be married with the guy, say I'm willing to do this so that we part our ways and you don't get raped financially.
And the thing is, that's a very unsexy conversation to have. I get it. It's very it's not a feel good conversation when you say, hey, if me and you don't work out, you go your way, I go mine, and everything is everything. Here, sign this. It's not a sexy conversation to have. So I understand where it kind of comes off as like, oh, you trying to bounce after years? No, I'm not necessarily saying that. That's not the point here. What it's basically saying is, if I screw up or if you screw up, everybody will get, there'll be a level of parity there. And so, like you said, I mean, maybe it'll happen, maybe it don't. I wouldn't hedge my bets against it, though. I don't think it's going to happen. So,
Blair, it forces people to talk about things if you do go down that path.
I agree with that, but again, Ted, when the way that the majority, not all, but the majority of women view weddings and marriages is in more of a Disney world. They don't look at the idea of saying, hey, let's talk about the business aspect of this. Let's talk about all the what ifs that could happen, because they're usually so in love with that individual, and they're in love with the idea and concept of getting married that you say, hey, hold on a moment. Let's talk prenup. All of a sudden, you hear the brakes slam on and the needle come off the record, and that's not a sexy thing to talk about.
But see, marriage is a contract. It's a contractual agreement. So if the woman really loves the guy, she won't ask him to sign a contract called marriage. If she does, then they actually should do it correctly.
Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it, Ted?
Do it correctly. Have an agreement on how the marriage is going to work. And if it doesn't, that would be and it doesn't matter who has more money or who has more earning potential. It can address more than money.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds real good. Whether or not it can be it can be applicable to marriages in our community, I don't know, man. But sounds good. Dre, talk to me. Give us some parting words.
On both of those.
I'm sorry, I just received a message on Facebook from a woman who wants to have her 2 cents in this. I shouldn't say 2 cents.
If we can get her in real quick.
516.
Oh, okay.
Two women.
All right. Let me see. 516. Okay, I'll get her. You want to get her in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You'll have to.
All right. 516. You're live on the air.
Hello.
Right here.
Hello.
516. You were live and on the air.
Hello.
Yes. How are you?
Yes, hi.
What's up?
Gabrielle and Shelley. And you
Hello.
guys said so many things that we just couldn't. We just over here pulling our hair out. But I'll speak to one. I'll speak to one. I know this is a man's show, and so it's leaning that way. But so one of the things I heard was women would not get divorced if there wasn't something in it for them. Couldn't they just be fed up? What?
But let me, may I take this?
When you say, wait, one of y'all take it. Don't one of y'all. I was gonna say something, but you go ahead and take it.
Hello.
Who's gonna take it?
All right, go ahead. Yeah. So could they? Whoa. Wait. Yes, they could. They could be fed up, and they also could. Most people. So Lynette or Gabrielle,
That's fine. Whatever.
What was your major in school and college?
Business and marketing.
All right. If I hired you to be a CPA, how well would you do?
Not well at all. What?
Okay, good. So I'm saying that to say you don't have the training in that, and most people don't have the training to even be in a relationship. So a lot of times people are fed up and can't see how they are actually sabotaging the relationship. Now, I'm not saying that anyone is innocent, but in 1968 they passed the no-fault divorce law, and that is when the divorces went sky high. It just kept running up. So now no one has responsibility and no fault, and people don't really know how to make things work when it's not going their way. They've done all kinds of research and following divorced people. People who get a first divorce are 61% more likely to get a second, and then 76% of them are more likely to get a third divorce. And the whatever problem they had in the first marriage follows them. So people, this is why I was saying cooperation. I really don't care about submission. Do you have the skills to cooperate? What happens when things don't go your way? And I know a lot of women say men don't communicate, they don't listen, and a lot of women will, I'm just fed up and say, hey, sometimes you have to be quiet and listen. And that's not
No. I'm not debating that, Ted. My only issue is when you said women get divorced because there's something in it for them. So
no,
I would not get. They would not get divorced if there wasn't something in it for them. How about something being peace of mind? How about what I'm saying? That's not.
Wait, Dre and Blair.
Let her finish because I want to say something to her after she's done.
Right.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
That's
go ahead,
all I
ma'am.
want to. I just want to deal with that one statement. So go ahead.
So wait,
so the idea,
Lynette. See this. Wait, Blair. Wait. See, this is what I was getting at. Listen, Lynette. When we say peace of mind, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes people don't have the best coping skills. Just like you're not qualified to be a CPA, people don't learn how to actually be in a relationship. And people often get upset over things. Most of what people get upset or worry about is something that's not even happening. They're saying, well, it could have gone this way, or what if, people don't actually deal with what's being said. And they often write a whole story in their head, and now they're angry over something that could have happened but didn't happen and never would have happened. So people don't always have the coping skills, and they're upset and don't understand that this is a pattern that just happens in their life, and they're pointing the finger at someone else. And people are just, I'm ultimately saying, people really don't have the qualifications to even be in a relationship.
I get that people don't know how to resolve issues, people, both sides, men and women. I get that. But please, don't let it be said that most women get divorced because they're getting something out of it.
Okay,
so
they
wouldn't get divorced if they weren't getting something out of it.
Tell me why you're upset about that. Tell me exactly why you're upset about that.
It makes it seem as if women are purely opportunistic, and that's not necessarily the point.
Absolutely they are.
I think that that may be one person's opinion. There are many women that are highly educated,
I'm sorry.
women who have.
Is this
let me
Gabrielle?
just finish.
I just want to make
just
sure.
let me.
No, this is a different person.
This is Shelley. Right.
Okay,
this is
gotcha.
Shelley.
Go ahead.
Right. So there are many women in their own right who have their own, who don't really rely on men or their funds at all. We have our own, and we've made a way, and we've blazed trails, and we're more than equipped to handle and take care of ourselves. Now, what happens in a divorce is something called equitable distribution. Both people bring things to marriages, and if you do not have a prenuptial agreement, then you're going to have to divvy these things up if you decide that you're going to go your separate ways. And one person may have brought more than the other. Maybe one person did more than the other. You know, there are women who did not have a job while other men went out and they brought home, but they kept the house. Let me just finish my thought. They kept the house. They kept the man. They kept the finances. They kept the kids. They did everything wrapped twice around and tied a bow in it. And so each person brought to the table what they did best. Now, when it's time to go, it's not to say that one worked harder or better than the other. This is ending, and then you do your best with either yourselves or with the law to end it as equitable in that distribution as possible. It's not because we're getting something out of it. I'm not saying that there aren't some women that may have that idea, but please don't label it as all women. That's not what women do. I know it's definitely not what I and many of my friends, I don't know any that's that descriptive.
Okay.
So I just wanted to have our say.
Ted, may I please?
Sure, because I really want to know why 70% of divorces are initiated by women. That's what I don't understand.
Ted, let me dive in here for a second.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Excuse me this is Lynette or Gabrielle. I'm sorry.
Lynette is fine. Lynette and Shelley.
Lynette. Okay, Lynette. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got Gabrielle. Okay, sorry. So Lynette and Shelley.
Shut up, Ted.
What was that?
She told me to shut up. See, they don't want to communicate. This is it.
You better say it with your chest, Ted. Don't be scared, man. No. So, what I will say to you is this, and I understand, and thank you for your comment. Thank you for calling in to the both of you. What I will just really say is this: that sounds logical on its own merit, but it really isn't backed up by any sort of quantifiable data. Here's data, and I allowed you to give your thing, so let me have mine for a minute. 70% of divorces are filed by women. If you look at the situations as a rule, here we talk about the rule, not the exception. As a rule, most men suffer in divorce. Suffer. The women, the courts, they're just geared towards women. Child support geared towards women. It's one of the reasons why, if you look at men, when you say, hey, when you talk about men getting married, men are like, oh no. They're kicking and screaming. You go to a wedding, you see a woman, the women throw the bouquet. They're like, oh my God, they're running for it, killing me, walking up each other's back. Men, let that flower drop right on the ground. It is not something that a lot of men want to get involved with. Why? Because they see how everything about their whole existence has been wiped out after a divorce. Most people, when they use like you said, the me and the people I know, you're talking about 0.00001% of this country. So I understand that you and maybe 20 of your friends may not have experienced that, but that's not the lion's share of how divorce works. The numbers don't lie. So, as I said, the numbers don't lie. The fact that men don't want to be married there's no other way around it. Marriage benefits women. It benefits women. It's not to say that marriage does not benefit men, but it benefits women.
I'm sorry.
And it's also, I allowed you to speak. I allowed you to speak. Please let me finish.
Lynette,
thank you.
Lynette.
I'm silent.
It was actually Shelley.
Thank you. Okay. So it's a situation where men are seeing it as more and more of a trap. the numbers aren't lying, ladies. I promise you they're not. And this is why men get so distraught and frustrated, because they're like, how can we get them to see that men don't see it? Men don't see it as a come up. They just don't. They see, yes, there are circumstances where men see it and it works out wonderfully. Absolutely, there are. But by and large, it doesn't happen that way. So now, if you want to say something, ma'am, or if you want to say something, Ted, go right ahead.
Yes, please, thank you. Now, I'm more than willing to listen to the statistics, only because I don't have any right now, and I have to compare that data to some of my own. I'm just really responding to the commentary versus, looking to see what data I come up with. So I guess it's relative to where you got your statistics from. But what I do take offense to is it sounds very obtuse that this is only something that benefits women. I will say and share my own experiences. I had been married and I was divorced. I was the financier in that particular marriage. I'm the one that sustained the loss. I'm the one that almost had to pay alimony because the person that I was married to was opportunistic, and I'm the one that did not veer off in that situation, which is unfortunate. But I'm the one with the investments. I'm the one that had all of those financial, holdings. So it happened to me. But I know that I'm not alone. I don't have the statistics to tell you how many other women have been there. So, no, it is not only something that benefits women. You're looking at it as only a man supporting a woman financially. And today, maybe in the past years, it might have been a larger amount of women who got married just based on finances. But today, women are very proud of their accomplishments and their contributions. Actually, we're not a force to be reckoned with. We're in the workplace. We're competing for all kinds of different levels, in corporate America, and we're coming to the table as equal partners. So maybe men need to be equally yoked with the women they're selecting, and then maybe they would have a better outcome both financially and emotionally if they can get on the same plane with the female that they're bringing into their lives. And maybe they can have a clear understanding going into a union or a marriage or a partnership or whatever it is that they decide to do with mutual respect and a clear understanding of expectations.
Okay.
And prenuptial agreements.
I'll ask you this one question, and then we're going to end the show. We're going to
take it back to and a prenup. She likes the idea of a prenuptial agreement.
Absolutely, you feel everybody should have one.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question, and maybe you may know this, maybe you don't, but I do. How many women pay alimony or any sort of monies to a man after divorce? Give me a figure.
I don't know. I would definitely have to check out those statistics on my own. I cannot, challenge yours. Right. I can't challenge yours, because I don't have any to. I could. Again, I'm just, responding to the commentary.
Right. So I will tell you this, and it's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people don't have conversations with me, because I know a lot of statistics. The number is 4%. 4% of men get alimony from women after a marriage. 4%. Nowhere near any sort of staggering number. That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. So the idea
I would like
that
to
men
know what
kind of
year
come after women or whatever.
I would like to know what year.
I would have to look it up, but I believe it's Pew Research 20. That's 2016. Absolutely, it is. Yes. So my thoughts to you and everything. And again, thank you for calling in. We got to kind of come to the close of the show. But if you want to call into further, upcoming shows, feel more than free. As I tell women all the time, we will talk, and as long as it's logical and respectful, we will have any conversation that you want to. So, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome. Dre, are you still on the line with us?
Yeah, man. I'm still here, man. Yeah, man. What I gotta say is, what I would want to, piggyback on is the show's over with. This needs to be a part 2, because it's so much I can elaborate on. You know what I'm saying? So I know again, time is of the essence. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, bro.
Absolutely.
It's a lot that with the young lady who just both of them who just got I can open up their imagination and thoughts about men.
Right.
They don't even understand
Hey,
the guy.
Hey, Dre, let me just say this. We got like 2 minutes to wrap up the show, so just real quick, I'm sorry to have to cut you off. Tell people where they can find you and what you're doing in the next 15 seconds, please.
My social media, Instagram is Dre, DRETHE_Giant. Facebook, because my mom follows me, is Andre P. Cobb on Facebook, and Dre the Giant panel discussion on Facebook as well. I'm just Dre the Giant, man.
I appreciate it, brother. I greatly appreciate it. Ted, we got like 60 seconds to wrap up. Do you have any final thoughts you want to put out there?
No. I'll just say the upset, and I'm sure, Lynette, you're still listening. And so the approach sometimes of being upset is counterproductive. And I know, ladies, sometimes you all can be more emotional than men. And this is what I was getting at in coping skills. It's essential if you're going to have things work.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody, for calling in. To my brothers and sisters both, we love you much. This has been another episode of Straight Talk. Tune in next week where we'll have another riveting show. And thank you for all the callers. Thank you to Dre the Giant out of Maryville, Indiana. Hope everyone has an awesome week, and we both love you much. Have a good one.
Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Look for you next week. Take care. Look for you next week. Take care. Look for you.